Okay. Von einem Saalleben und ständiger Spannung ist Moiradik verältert geworden, abgelosen sich. From such a life and such stress that he had. He became older and he neglected himself. He's under a lot of stress, Salve. Kein schon Trace und kein schon Anhalt hat in sich allein mehr nicht gekonnt finden. He couldn't find any kind of support, encouragement, or ability to withstand the trouble that he was experiencing. Etwas wie alle seine Keuches wollten ausgebrennt geworden von der größeren Leidenschaft, was die 17-jährige Chanele hat angezündet in sein massiven Guff mit 8 Doshim zurück. It's as if all of his strength was burnt out by the strong passion.
You know, can I ask the word leiden, the verb, is to
I
suffer.
don't hear
You can't hear me? Can anybody else hear me?
I can hear you. Leiden is to suffer.
To suffer. But somehow Leidenschaft
is
becomes passion.
Passion, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
he still feels that passion for her, and it kills him. It takes away his strength.
No. But I'm just looking at the word Leiden and Leidenschaft.
Leidenschaft, yeah. Passion.
The suffering becomes.
I know. This is what I was thinking also, but I looked it up.
No, it is Leidenschaft is passion, but it's like I just from the verb, the root.
Yeah. So now he's Faran oder gehört als solche Minei Beschäftigten, was bald noch und zusammenporen sich, fallen die Schoring Teut. He heard that there are some living beings where after they come together, the male and the female, the males die away. For instance, ants, morskes, lemoshel. A spinniche, that's a spider. Frisst auf dem Zocher bald noch, dem wie hat sie befruchtet. Spider, a female spider devours the male right after they have sex. That's interesting. Befruchtper, that's from the word frucht. Fruit. Right after he impregnated her. Etwas Ähnliches is mit ihm allein geschehen. Something similar happened with him also, like the death of those males. Wie noch hat das Seinike, der Gerecht ist halb gestorben. Just as he achieved his own, that means just after he had his way with Hanele, he is half dead, like those ants. Schon damals in Pelzkammer, bald noch dem, wie es geschehen, ist geblieben sitzen, halb teuter. An nebechdiker auf ein hinkendigen Futterstuhl. Und Hanele hat ihm geglätt die Knie. Already then, when this happened, he was already half dead. and he was sitting on that chair, and Hanele was caressing his knee, and then he already felt half dead. Hat אפילו nicht gehabt kein Mut zu trösten sie. He wasn't in the mood to cheer her up. You got to go up, Marsha. He wasn't even in the mood to promise her help, like somebody, like an older man would do in a case like this. He didn't even encourage her. He didn't even try to cheer her up, to promise help. Nothing. She was the one that was trying to cheer him up. She was caressing his knee. Hat noch in sich gefunden genug Gemeinheit von einer Trost anzuschrecken sie. Die unglückliche Halbnackte, als wird sich werfen in ihre Blie herein. He even found in himself enough meanness. Talking about social criticism, he found in himself enough meanness to threaten her that he will commit suicide, that will jump into the water. Gebeten mit die Rollen haben sie sich, they changed roles. Der 50-jährige Streuner Almen hat gestrascht und sie, die 17-jährige Jesäumele, hat beruhigt. He, the 50-year-old widower, was threatening, and she, the 17-year-old orphan, was trying to calm him down. Sind dem hat die miese Gefallenkeit seine gehalten in ein wachsen. Now this is about his mood. Gefallenkeit is something like depression. Since then, since he did that thing, his depression kept getting worse and worse. Take via meuyamdike Spinneche hat sie sich in ihm eingegessen und säugt ihm Tag wie Nacht die letzte Kräften aus. Again, the image of the spider, and that depression is eats him up like the spider eats the spider. The female spider eats up the male spider after they come together. Now it's the depression that he is experiencing after that eats him up, and he cannot overcome it. It takes all his strength away from him. And it's as if the depression is telling him, was deins abgetan, Save Milner? It's the kennst du untergehen. It's as if the depression is telling him, oh, you have done yours, Save the Milner, by his profession. Now you can go down. The depression is pulling him down. Oftmals liegen die Kasoi verjagt und abgeschwacht auf sein Almengeleger in Esszimmer, hat sich allein mit Bitternis gestellt die Frage. This is so interesting. Very often when he's so worried and weakened, as he's lying on his widower's bed, like, you know, in the dining room, he is asking himself bitterly, nu, hat sich das im Ganzen gelohnt? Nu, did it all pay, was it all worth it? This whole deed? And then he's answering himself, gewiss hat nicht gelohnt. Certainly, it wasn't worth it. Azoi hat jet werden mal geentfert der balabatischer Sechel הישר. Aber amod ne Sach. Yeah, the logic answers, yeah, this is a logical answer that it wasn't worth it. But kein emse charote auf der ganze Meise hat fort nicht gefühlt sich. He didn't feel any remorse, no regret about that at all. Sein Blut und Leib hat sehr gut abgeschätzt die Wert von einer übergelebter heißer Minute. His blood and his body very much appreciated the value of such an experiential hot moment. Das, was 10 Jiden Meridalnikes von sein Eltern, Balodene mit Mitzvahs und mit abgeschwachte Glieder, leben über mit sehr reentwate Weiber in Meschach von Wochen, und einer allein übergelebt in einer kurzer Show von Sinn. Here there's like a he in his mind he's putting down his contemporaries who are married to Yentevate Weiber, to Yentes, and he is saying to himself what he experienced with Hanele. His contemporaries who are so loaded with mitzvahs and so was so godly, they don't get as much pleasure for months or for weeks, whatever. Yeah, they don't get as much pleasure from having contact with the wives all the time, with the Yentevate. This is something. He's putting them down. Their wives are nothing, but I had my way with Hanele.
There's your Epstein. You remember last week, Goldie, you talked about.
Let's just stay. Let's stay with Zave. Let's stay with the story. I mean, for weeks they don't altogether, they don't get us that same kind of pleasure that I had in such a short time by sinning from Sind. The pleasure that they cannot experience what I did by committing a sin.
In a short time.
Wie? Sie kommen בכלל anrufen, als sei überleben ist Sinn? How can you even call such an experience a sin? He doesn't consider it a sin. It was wonderful as far as he's concerned. Okay, Yankev, you want to continue?
Okay. I just want to point out this word meridalnicus.
Where is it?
It's a couple of lines above. 10 Yidden meridalnicus.
Oh yes. That's a very good word.
It's it's so expressive in this whole description of him with having his way with this teenager, that he, mit Meridalnicus, men who, 10 Jews who all are suffering from piles,
Oh my
from
God.
hemorrhoids. It's the contrast is just it's just unbelievable. I thought when I read through this.
Mind blowing.
Yeah. Okay.
But he thinks of his community.
But
Yeah.
Mr. Epstein, he's right here.
Yeah. Okay. Aber zij is a Donner von Himmel sind. If that's the case, this sin is like a lightning from heaven, from the sky. A gewisser, an opgerissene Rebellie euch sind. Mit a brennendicken Weitiken und mit a hellischer Hanoa legt sich bis heutigen Tag über in Sikoren alle Einzelheiten von jener wilder in halb dunkler Kammer zwischen farbiger Pelzen und scharf kollierter Bettgewand. Povele für die Töchter. Sure, that's quite a sentence. A certain opgerissene Rebellie, a sort of torn away wheel that turns the millstones. Also a sin with a burning pain and with hellish pleasure. He
relives.
it goes through his mind each day, all the details of that wild time in the that he experienced in the half dark little room among the colored furs and the brightly colored bedclothes, which are part of the trousseau of his daughters. Channeles Schreck, wenn is auf ihr umgegangen. Her fear when he approached her, und sein Zurücktreten etliche Mal nacheinander, bis sie hat noch gegeben. And his retreating several times, time after time, until she submitted herself. Nur eine Sache kann von damals an mehr nicht herübergetragen. Das ist der Reich von Kampfer und Naphthalin. The only thing that he cannot bear anymore is the smell of the camphor and the naphthalene. A taivel besomim, is das, nicht kein überschüttiges verpelzen. So it's this terrible, this devilish smell, which emerges, comes out of the furs. Wenn nicht ot der dosike betäubendike Reach in einem heißen Sommertag, wollte das öfter im Ganzen nicht geschehen. If it weren't for this numbing smell on that hot summer day, perhaps the whole thing wouldn't have happened. So he's blaming it on the smell of the mothballs and the naphthalene. Efter Taka der Fahr allein will mehr nicht liegen in dem Weibs Schlafzimmer. And perhaps this is the reason why he doesn't want to sleep in his wife's bedroom. In Eck von jenem Zimmer gefindt sich das Pelzkammerl mit einem sitzendem Vorhangel Vorhangen mit dem größten gecoverten Kasten. So in the corner of his late wife's bedroom the fur room is to be found with the cloth curtain and with the very large forged box, metal box. Von Kasten strömt heraus derselbe Reach bis zum heutigen Tag. And from this box, there streams out this very same smell, odor, up to the present day. Bei Nacht in der abgeschlossenen Stube zerspreit sich und der greift und peinigt. Was weiter von dem dosigen Reach.
Thank you, Yankev. Goldele.
Wait. The last sentence. Yankev hasn't translated it.
You have to translate the last.
Yeah.
Okay, so at night, through the...
Sorry, I don't hear you well.
At night, is this better?
Yes.
Okay, at night, through the locked house, this smell spreads out and reaches him, and it causes him to suffer. Was weiter, more and more he suffers from this very smell, this odor.
Ich habe gar nicht kein Rachmanis seitdem.
Really? But
Yeah.
what is the thing with the smell? I don't know. I mean,
He's trying to find an excuse for feeling.
No, he doesn't need an excuse. He says the men with the piles, they don't enjoy the way I did. He doesn't seem to think it's a sin even. He's quite pleased with himself.
But at the same time,
yeah.
he thinks if it hadn't been for the smell of the naphthalene, perhaps the whole thing wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So he's blaming this very strong smell of the mothballs on the whole that caused him to do the whole thing.
Full of baloney.
Maybe maybe it's possible to increase the volume a little bit because I don't hear. I hear you like you were whistling.
Or like we were in a,
I had to stop the share because something. Nechama, when you moved my my
oh,
page too. I don't know how that happened before. So okay, I'll try to get back to where I'm supposed to be.